Hello, this is Diego Pedreros. I am recording this video to show you how to run the SMPG, starting from updating your improved rainfall data and then going all the way to run the SMPG. So let's take a look. We're going to start by preparing the polygon shapefile. Then we prepare the rainfall data, the created rainfall data as chirps. Then we blend chirps with the stations for our region of interest, use the geoclim to extract statistics to then bring that table into the SMPG and run it. Then later on we're going to link the results, the summary table to the shapefile and plot those in using QGIS. So let's begin. So now let's update our blended database or our improved rainfall database. So the first thing is to have our chirps data ready, updated. So this is my chirps data. I use the global decadal. I use the geoclim to download the global data, and it downloads the final version. But then I come here to the FTP site and download the prelim down here. So I open the prelim, and that way I could download the latest data. For example, we are now at the beginning of March 2020. I downloaded the final is all the way to the end of January, but then the prelim has all the decades for February, and that's how I update the database. This is my chirps data, and is all the way updated to 2020 third decade of February. So that is ready, and the stations I have in right here. This is the CSV with all the station data. Make sure that missing values are completed with the value that you have assigned for the missing value. So now let's close the table. We have our chirps ready, our station ready, everything is ready. So now let's open the code. In this case, I'm gonna go back. I'm not using the basics icon because I already have, since I run this frequently, I already have the code ready and I don't have to fill out the form every time. So here is my Ethiopia IRE code, and here we have everything ready. This is the station file. So here's the date. So the date is the one that I need to change. That's the only thing that I need to change now, because everything else is the same name. So the station data is updated. The gridded data, which is global decade, is chirps PPT global decade is updated. So all those files, those directories are still the same. So the only thing that I need to make sure is that I'm running from the first decade of February to the third decade of February. That's all I need to change. So once that is ready, I just run this. That's gonna take a few minutes. Okay, so it is done, and I have my database updated. Now let's take a look and make sure. So I come here to the geoclim. My region is Ethiopia. My data, now I'm going to select the one that I just updated, and let's make sure that it's working correctly. My improved rainfall is updated to the third decade of February. So now that we have our rainfall ready, let's run the extracted statistics function in the geoclim. Let's bring Ethiopia admin 2. Now, something that we could do first is clean up this the polygons. There are some polygons that we don't want. We could either clean up at the beginning or clean up at the end, and or perhaps at the end we just don't use those polygons, and that's what I'm going to do now. So let's use code 2 ID. Let's use the code. So now I'm going to bring all the data from my IRE directory. Climate. There we go. So here I'm going to make sure that there are no anomaly files. Let's see, since I just run the improved code, I'm going to find, yeah. So you see, I'm going to find these anomaly files, and we don't want those. So let's, okay, I just deleted those files. So I'm selecting from 1981-01 all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to 2020 06. Okay. So now it is populating this window right here. It's going to take a little while. So it's done populating the data. So now let's save the output. I'm going to bring it right here to my Ethiopia. So now I'm going to create a new directory for Bell monitoring 2020. So here I'm going to IRE time series for polygons. Okay, so I'm saving the extraction of all those files, of all those polygons, and into that directory, into that CSV table. What I'm doing is I'm calculating the average right here. I'm calculating the average of all the pixel values inside each polygon. So that's what we're doing, and it's gonna save it into this table. There we go. That's gonna take a while. Okay, so just finished running the tool. Now let's open this in Excel. So the first thing to make sure is that we don't have duplicate polygons. So in many cases there are districts that have satellite districts, so they have the same number, same code. So the SMPG doesn't like that, so it breaks. So then what I do is I have to go over and clean up and make sure that I either delete the polygons or I give it an extra I delete the duplicate polygons, or I give it an extra number, so that way they don't have the same code. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy one of these time series of a polygon, just one, to test the SMPG. So here, so I just paste it right here. So that is a single polygon all the way to decade 6 of 2020. Now let's run it and see what comes out. So what this is going to help us is to set up the data tab that is in the background to so that we could run all the polygons and every single tab will come out, will use the same template. So as we can see here, the current year is out of sync. So it's plotting all the way to May, but we are just on the third decade of February. So that's the first thing that we need to change. So we select the black line, come down here, and just move it to up to the current decade. So that is that right there. Then we do the same thing with the ensemble plot, and then we move it right there. That is done. I like to delete the data here so that there is no traces of uh, previous data. So is now done. Okay, so now this is the way I want it, and what's gonna happen is that we're gonna save this as the data tab, and this is going to be the template for all the other polygons. Oh, it's right there. I didn't delete the original one. So now I'm going to delete the original one, and I'm going to change the one that I just edited. I change it to data, and I'm going to hide it. So now everything is ready. The one that is hidden is the one that I just changed. So now I'm going to bring the complete data set, all the polygons, come to the raw data, make sure that you paste it on that column, on the row number 3, and is ready to go. So now I'm going to click on run SMPG tool and wait until it's done. Okay, it just finished running. So what it did, it created a tab for each of the polygons that we have pasted in the raw data sheet. So now we can go in and see how each of those polygons is represented in the SMPG. So now we could go over each of the lines, and we see that this polygon, for example, is the season is starting way below the average, the red line. You can see it right here, and but it's starting just similar to last year, and we see here that also the values are pretty low. Oh, okay, so that is the way we run the SMPG. So now let's take a look at the summary table. So this is now populated with the code for each of the polygons. This is the percent of normal that is now up to the current decade. This is the end of the season, and then the probabilities. So and we have at the end we have, so you can see that it created a tab for every single polygon. So at the end we have the analog years, and this is being this is updated every time we run the tool. So it's giving us what are the analog years for each polygon. So once we run the tool, Then we have this summary table, and we are going to link this table to our shapefile using QGIS. So what I do is I just highlight the the values, paste it as values into a new sheet. Make sure that this is clean. So I just change the format so I could later on create labels on my maps. Then save this as a CSV. So I'm saving this as a CSV in my directory. Then I make sure that I save it as CSV UTF-8. So I'm going to call it summary decade 6 because that's the decade that we are finishing right now. Then we close this right there. Now let's go to QGIS. So this is the map clean just for the polygons that are going to be used during this season. So let's go here uh, in this one right there. So we're gonna click on that and bring our table. Make sure that it's delimited text. We select, then we're gonna go into our FuseNet Ethiopia. Here we go. This table has no geometry, so that's all that we need is a comma delimited. So we add it and close. So it's right there. So let's take a look. This is our table, right? So now we are going to click on the map, go to properties, bring properties right here. We're gonna join the map with the table. So we're gonna create a new join. We're gonna join it to this summary table using the code and using the admin2 code. So we are going to just join all the attributes and let's do the symbology. So in this case I already have the symbology done, and some of you already have those in Ethiopia already have the symbology. So I'm going to load the symbology from our QGIS colors directory. So I'm going to bring rainfall percent of average. That's the attribute that I'm going to map right now. So since the season is just beginning, so we are not going to look at the to the end of the season because we're still pretty far away, but we could look at the beginning of the season. So how far from average the beginning of the season is doing. So let's so this is the one that we want. Summary decade percent of average at current decade. That's what we want, and we apply. So this map is telling us the following: green to blue is above average up to the current decade, from the beginning of February to the current decade, and to the end of February. We don't have the first decade of March yet. So then red colors are orange to red colors are telling us that this region is showing that the season is beginning late. So, and the white areas are just between 80 and 120% of average. So, so this is the first picture of the bell season of 2020, and the same way we could map the other attributes, uh, probabilities to the end of the season, and so forth. But we're not going to do it now because we're still too early. But then we do the same. We do it the same way. So if you have any questions, just let me know. If you want copies of the colors that we already have, just let me know. I'll send them by email. Thanks.